This is Vicente Rodriguez-Ortiz, a 23-year-old man convicted of murdering 2 people in Grand Rapids, Michigan. 17-year-old Andre Hawkins was sitting in the car when Rodriguez approached and fired a gun at someone he thought was romantically involved with his ex-girlfriend. Rodriguez was arrested, and later he made an incriminating comment about being involved in another homicide, and police soon charged him with the shooting death of a 50-year-old mother, Lori Lundeberg. On the day of his trial for the death of Lundeberg, Rodriguez pleaded no contest to second-degree murder, which means you accept the conviction but avoid factual admission of guilt. Now at his sentencing, this is the sister of Lundeberg speaking.
I can only imagine how empty a heart must be to have so little regard for life. I will pray for you, Vicente.
Earlier, Rodriguez was also convicted at trial for the murder of Hawkins. Next to speak is Hawkins' mother, who forgives the man that killed her son.
In order to get through this process, I had to forgive you, and I forgive you from the bottom of my heart. I pray for you because as a mother, you're a child to me, and in my heart, I have no anger or bitterness towards you. As a mom, I just want to hug you. I'll never get to see my son be married and have a family, and I couldn't see him walk across the stage and get his high school diploma. It was his senior year, and life was going good for us, and you not only robbed him and us of that, you also robbed yourself.
Now this is what Rodriguez has to say.
I just want to say I'm sorry, Miss Hawkins.
Rodriguez was sentenced to 35 to 75 years for the killing of Lundeberg and life in prison without the chance of parole for the killing of Hawkins. Rodriguez will serve his sentence at Saginaw Correctional Facility in Freeland, Michigan. This is Amber Guyger, a former police officer who was found guilty of murder in Dallas, Texas.
That's when you decided to shoot twice.
Yes, sir.
Okay. That's called a double tap, right?
Yes, sir.
Is that what you were intending?
Yes, sir.
That's your training, isn't it?
It's what we're trained to do.
Guyger had worked 13 hours on duty, then returned to her apartment complex, where she had lived for just under 2 months. She was in uniform, but off duty. When she approached what she thought was her apartment, she noticed the door was partially open.
You can tell it's open a little bit. I'm like, someone's in here. I hear moving around, and so I automatically draw my weapon.
She then saw a man inside, who she believed to be an intruder. She then fired her service weapon, which killed him.
I'm holding the door open. I see the shadow way back there. I said, let me see your hands, let me see your hands. There he ended up towards the armrest of the couch, and I shoot 2 times. I'm thinking because he's moving around so much, he's not listening.
She was actually at the apartment directly above hers, where 26-year-old Botham Jean lived. Prosecutors said Jean had been on the couch watching TV, eating vanilla ice cream, when Guyger walked in and fatally shot him.
Amber Guyger firmly and reasonably believed that she had confronted an intruder in her apartment.
Now in court, Guyger is facing murder charges, and this is where she takes the stand.
You now know you weren't on the 3rd floor.
Yes.
But you believe you were.
I believed I was.
And the figure was moving around as you described?
Yes, I have my gun pointed, and I'm saying, let me see your hands, let me see your hands.
And then he began coming towards you?
Yes.
Why did you fire?
I was scared. I was scared this person's apartment was gonna hurt me, and I'm so sorry. I'm sorry.
How do you feel what you did?
I feel like a terrible person, and I hate myself every single day. I wish he was the one with the gun that killed me.
After an emotional testimony from Guyger, the judge now reads the jury's verdict.
We, the jury, unanimously find the defendant, Amber Guyger, guilty of murder as charged in the indictment. No outbursts.
After the judge calls for a break, you can hear screams outside the courtroom. Now Guyger will receive her sentence.
The defendant's punishment at 10 years imprisonment.
After the sentence was handed down, Jean's younger brother, Brant, takes the stand for a victim impact statement.
I don't want to say twice or
for the 100th time what you've or how much you've taken from us. I think you know that.
And this is where Brandt actually forgives Guyger.
If you truly are sorry, I know I can speak for myself. I forgive you. And I don't think anyone could say it, but I love you just like anyone else. And I wasn't gonna ever say this in front of my family or anyone, but I don't even want you to go to jail.
He then asks the judge's permission to hug Guyger.
I don't know if this is possible, but can I give her a hug, please? Please?
Yes.
Guyger is currently serving her 10-year sentence at Mountain View State Prison in Gatesville, Texas, but she will be eligible for parole in 2024. This is Danta Wright, who at 17 years old shot and killed a Pioneer High School student in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Wright and 2 others jumped and attacked the 18-year-old student in an attempt to rob him. While fighting back, he was shot in the head, and his body was left on a path until a maintenance worker found him. The boys were caught soon after and arrested. It was here Wright was supposed to have a pre-trial hearing, but instead he admitted to the crime in return for a plea deal.
Did you in fact rob Jordan Fleet?
Yeah.
And did you use a gun to place him in fear in order to take his property?
Yeah.
And as a result of that armed robbery, what did you do with that gun and Mr. Jordan Fleet?
Shot him.
And where did you shoot him?
On top. My head.
And did you kill him with that shot?
Yes.
Now, at his sentencing, the victim's family delivers a victim impact statement.
Your Honor, my name is Courtney Clay, and I'm Karen's cousin. She's asked me to read this on her behalf. I've lost my only child, my son, my baby, my friend. More than that, I've lost laughter and love. I no longer have the hope of having grandchildren. I've lost the enjoyment of holidays and birthdays and of everyday life. There will never be an answer good enough to satisfy why you shot my son.
Wright can be seen smirking and seemingly showing no remorse.
Your actions have led you to a prison cell, but have also created an empty cell that I live in every day. While you can still hope to be released one day, I'll never escape my hell. You are still alive, but Jordan has no future.
And now, it's Wright's turn to address the court for his actions.
I just want to tell y'all, I'll be home soon. R.I.P. Keon, I love my family.
And now the judge threatens to throw out the plea deal.
Watching you sit there, smile and laugh and shake your head like this was no big deal, I'm very tempted to just say, I'm not going to accept this sentence agreement. We'll go to trial. And if you're convicted of felony murder, you'll go to prison for the rest of your life. That means you'll die there. That's what I'm tempted to do.
After an hour-long recess, the judge and prosecution finally decided to accept the plea deal. He is currently facing a 25 to 52-year prison sentence. This is 17-year-old Joshua Young. He is charged with complicity to murder and tampering with evidence in the brutal killing of his 14-year-old stepbrother in Louisville, Kentucky. Young is on trial, but months before, Young's father, Joshua Guyger, had admitted to committing the murder. After he was sentenced to life in prison, Guyger appears at his son's trial, repeating what he's already told the court. He alone is responsible for the killing of his stepson, and his son Joshua had nothing to do with it.
And what are you serving?
Life.
For what?
Killing Trey.
I admitted everything I've done. I've been sentenced for it. Life in prison. Yet here I am, going over the same story.
The prosecutors believe he's covering for Young, and they aren't convinced of the father's story. They continue to press Guyger for more details.
Did you enter into a guilty plea or did a jury find you guilty?
I just pled guilty.
Can you tell the jury what you told the judge when you pled guilty?
That I killed him for stealing from me and for keeping on stealing. But that wasn't really I don't know. It just felt right at the time, but that wasn't why I did it. I mean, it's not like I wanted Trey to die, or if I could do it over, I'd kill him again. None of that.
Now this is the moment that Young is found not guilty on both charges.
Verdict form number 1, murder. We, the jury, find the defendant Joshua Young not guilty under instruction number 1. Verdict form number 2, tampering with physical evidence. We, the jury, find the defendant Joshua Young not guilty.
Young is now free of all charges. More than 5 years later, Young continued to go in and out of jail. While behind bars, he wrote a detailed confession letter for the murder of his stepbrother, stating he was ready to get the truth out there and claiming he was the true killer and he acted alone. Even with the confession letter, under the legal principle of double jeopardy, Young cannot be tried again in a criminal case for the murder after having already been found not guilty. This is Trey Relford, a 24-year-old man who pled guilty to murder in Lexington, Kentucky.
I'm sorry about what happened that day.
Salahuddin Jitmood was a 22-year-old pizza delivery driver on his last delivery for the night when Relford and 2 accomplices lured him into an apartment complex, then robbed and stabbed him to death. After Relford pled guilty in court, Jitmood's father now gets a chance to speak to the man who killed his son.
I blame the devil who misguiding you and misleading you to do such a horrible crime. No, I don't blame you. I'm not angry with you at all.
This is when Jitmood's father forgives his son's killer.
I forgive you on behalf of Salahuddin and his mother.
Now Relford has a moment to speak before his sentencing.
Just tell them that you did. Well, I thank you for your forgiveness.
And this is where Jitmood's father now hugs Relford. Relford was sentenced to 31 years in prison.